Good evening, thanks for joining us tonight. Mr. Hobbs, invocation please.
Yes. We cover a lot of things here, but I think if you pushed any of us, I think what the board members would say is why they're here is the kids. So I was trying to think, what's the best thing we can acquire for our children, for the district? Could that be that we, board members, we attend all the meetings? Could it mean free lunches? Could it mean new playgrounds for everyone? Is it new books? Is it revised curriculum? Is it spelling tests? Or I'm sorry, Jane, I don't even think it's a new superintendent. I think the best thing we can get for our kids is a great teacher. Now that's a tough order, and you can sit in the meetings and find out about that. But here's a couple of percentages I ran across. In 2010, 58% was a decrease in teaching certificates issued. 42% decrease of the number of emergency certificates issued. In 2016, there was 38% fewer teaching graduates than in the year 2000. It's a tough thing. Here's a quote from Karen Smith, PSBA Bolton. This was 2017, talking about the teachers. They are the front line. Our educational system and carry the burden of delivering the educational program developed by administrators and legislators from the central office up to the White House. Wow. But now think about the teacher that made a difference for you. I know you all have one. I'm thinking, even I grew up in this district. I had a 6th grade teacher. Mrs. Cooley was her name. She actually went through a change of names, but she was in the district for a long time. I went to her classroom after I got my teaching certification, and it was just a joy on her face. But you know how she made a difference in my life? She hit me with an eraser. That's, I mean, it's in all those cases, well, whatever they be, and I don't want to prolong it because I know you could all attest to this. In all the cases, these teachers that made the difference for the kids, they went the extra mile, they made a personal connection, and you know what you called them? They were my teacher. That was my teacher. I had a dear teacher, a friend of mine, just yesterday, I went to his funeral, and you know, just thinking of all the differences that he made and all the students that were there that make a difference. The best thing we can do for our kids is to give them good teachers.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. A roll call, Mr. Howard.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you?
Mrs. Philly.
Here.
Mr. Burrell.
Here.
Mr. Hobbs. Mr. Richardson is absent tonight. Mrs. Hummel.
Here.
Ms. Boykins. Mr. Wright.
Here.
Mr. Cave.
I'm here.
Ms. Hoff.
Here.
Ms. McClova is taking the exam. Mr. Randall. Yeah, I'm sorry. And Ms. Summerlin. Okay, we have 2 student representatives and 8 board members present.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Cupp. Welcome to almost the end of March, folks. We'll do our school board celebrations with Mr. Hobbs driving the computer for me this evening. Congratulations to our February Students of the Month, as chosen by the Upper Darby Lansdowne Rotary Club. Our March Students of the Month. There you go. I just want to say congratulations to the Penwood High School Unified Sports Bocce team. They went to the Delaware County Championships at Marple Newtown a couple of weeks ago. It was pretty fantastic. I was present with Mr. Wright at Bell Avenue's Black History Prismatic Magic Light Show. It was fabulous. Thank you for kicking that off, Mr. Wright.
You're welcome.
Congratulations to some of our better-known alumni, Mr. Farquhar. Congratulations, Mrs. Hummel. Elliot has completed Navy Officer Candidate School. And congratulations to Agnes, USTFF CCA Midwest Region Indoor Track Athlete of the Year. And she just started her spring season by winning a couple of sprints, so I expect more from her. Congratulations to Penwood Track and Field. They won the state championships of the indoor season, and I want to read something else. Penwood's Terry Turner opened her outdoor season strong Saturday at the Pennsylvania Track Classic at Plymouth Whitemarsh. Turner broke a 30-year-old meet record with a time of 2 minutes, 11.52 seconds in the girls' 800-meter finals. So congratulations, Terry, and the whole team. They all did fabulous. There's a longer article, but you don't break 30-year-old records every day. Read Across America was in all our schools. I got to read to some fifth graders at Ardmore. The picture at the top is from Ardmore, and the picture at the bottom is from Park Lane. Congratulations to 26 students at Bell Avenue for the National Honor Society, being inducted into the National Honor Society. That's pretty awesome. We had some quasi-important visitors in our schools. Mayor Hopkins from Yaden and Margot Davidson, State Representative. We went to the DCC STEM trip again, Mr. Wright and I went, and it was pretty fabulous. You see the pictures in the back, because as we were cruising from one building to another, we noticed that not only were we there for STEM, but DCC was featuring about 30 works of art done by our students in their art gallery. Read It Forward's Evans and our good man, Mr. Cave, is having a book exchange. He's looking for books. So if you have books, please drop them off at Evans by this Thursday. Or he'll pick them up. So just call him and he'll come running. When bad things happen, good things happen. Unfortunately, there was a fire in Yaden. And fortunately, within 3 days, Rafi and some other parents from Evans put together a call for clothes and furniture and kids' toys, and there was abundance of stuff. So thank you again, Mr. Cave and Mr. Barr. It was pretty instrumental. Congratulations, Ms. Harbor. Thank you for celebrating those board members who came. Thank you for coming to her opening event, I guess, and thank you for Jamie Santor for coming and having his comments too. Congratulations to the Art Honor Society that inducted 21 students. Every year that's the kids at the bottom, every year they do an art project for the school. This year, last year they did a big thing over the library and mosaics that said you were entering the library. This year they're doing placards to tell students where classrooms are, so it's pretty cool. Penwood Speech and Debate, look at that crew. They were at the 2017 state competition. We have a very young team, so we're very hopeful for their future, and you'll see one of our young school board directors in that picture right there. All right, I have 2 other things. Widener University honored Ishel Ortiz for being a high school student leader volunteer. Ms. Ortiz has made a difference by regularly volunteering with the Red Cross and her community food pantry. She also serves as a member of student council. I believe she was also elected secretary of her junior class recently. Pretty fabulous young lady. Congratulations, Ishel. Just this weekend, Penwood Foundation sponsored 38 of our girls in grades 5th to 10th to go to the Get STEAM technology thing, Girls Engaged in Tomorrow's Technology. We had a great time. We were gone a long time, and I look forward to many more STEAM events sponsored by Penwood Foundation. So call us, write us. Do not sit home and yell from your couch. We cannot hear you. Okay? All right, Ms. Harbert, your report.
Thank you. So good evening. Thank you for joining us either through the audience or participation or through our videotaping for our March board meeting. The school year has been moving very quickly. This Friday, March 31st, is the official end of the third quarter. 75% of the school year will be complete on Friday. So you know, elementary report cards will be distributed on Wednesday, April the 5th, in the Wednesday folders. And report cards for grades 7 through 12 will be mailed on Friday, April the 7th. Elementary parents, we had announced earlier that we'd be opening the Home Access Center for students in grades 4 through 6. We have decided to wait until next fall to open that window, as we are still experiencing technical difficulties with the electronic grade books. And that's for grades 4 through 6. I also know that many of you, the parents, have been asking about our ELA curriculum. The posting for the committee has been advertised, and once people have applied and been selected, we will set the dates for the meetings, and we will let you know if parents are interested in attending some of these meetings. Please let the curriculum office know. April is a jam-packed month for our students and staff. PSSA testing for grades 3 to 8 will occur in April. Students will be taking the English Language Arts PSSA the week of April the 3rd through the 7th. Then we have spring recess, April the 10th through the 14th, and then Monday, April the 17th, is an in-service day, so no students are in attendance. And then PSSA math testing is the week of April the 24th through the 28th. So we are doing PSSA testing practically all month, and then we have science after that. Our schools are working on their comprehensive plans. They are due May the 27th to the board for public display and comment, and must be submitted to the state for June 30th. If you are interested in participating in your school's comprehensive plan, please reach out to your principals. Having community and parent involvement is a state requirement, and we encourage you to participate. Once all the school plans are completed, we will begin the process of revising the district's comprehensive plan. So remember, William Penn's mission is to make sure all students leave our schools college and/or career ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harbert. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the business meeting of February 27th, 2017?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, any corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? May I have a motion to approve the committee meeting minutes of March 20th, 2017?
So moved. Second.
Any changes or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Thank you. Mr. Randall, comments today?
Yes. I hear that there's a decrease of teachers and the education, it's not as good standards as it should be. But let's bring it back to why. Let's bring that question. Why do we have school? Why do we have education? Is it just to go through life in high school and just get money, just work for money, and work endless hours of jobs and just stress? Or are we working towards a satisfactory life that we want, something that we can enjoy? And that's something that we haven't been promoting as much here. And here in Penwood High School, there hasn't been as much activities going on. And I feel as though the two main things that people love and want is food, consumption, and entertainment. Everybody wants to have fun. We want to enjoy life. We also want to consume things. We want food. We want to consume knowledge. We want to be educated. But how are we going to do that? And that's the thing we're always missing is why. And I feel as though the two main things that we are missing is one is, I'll write it down here, is roles, and two, promotions. We got to promote ourselves. We got to enjoy things. Make people see what we're doing here. Like, and I feel as though, because I was watching a movie the other day, it was like mobsters, because you know how people say, well, this is not business, it's personal. But the thing is, that's a major misconception. What business was meant to be is an agreement, something that we can, that it's a confirmation that you're giving me this product and I'm satisfied with what you're giving me. That's what business is supposed to be, not some dirty trash that we're just giving people just for money. No. That's what people keep confusing with business. Business is not something bad. It's an agreement that we're satisfied. We're saying, yes, I want this. And that's the things that we're not promoting as much. We want to make students feel as though they want to enjoy high school, not just go through high school like it's another day, another school, like they feel forced and I don't need to learn this. And another thing I do want to bring up, I feel like, I know everybody will come down for this, I feel like we shouldn't have academic classes. Because I feel like some kids they just try to hide away or shy away and try to push themselves or boost themselves a little more. And I feel like, yes, there should be college prep classes, honors classes, AP classes. And I think those are the three things that should be up there because we're training kids to have morals, have principles, to get ready for college, to get ready for life, to have the best satisfactory life that they ever want. So that's the two things. So roles and promotions we have to have, and just promote things. We haven't had too much pep rallies, not much fun, and we also can't forget like the students that didn't make honor roll. We always got to remember them too. And I feel like we're always feeding in, rewarding the kids that do get honor roll. Of course, they're doing great, they're doing excellent. What about the students that didn't make it? Like, we can't just say they just don't care. You can't just think of it like that. And I feel like then we start to think that ourselves like, oh, I guess I don't care anymore. I don't want to do this. It's just another day. So that's what I put up there. Promotions and roles. And we need more activities to get people more engaged. So that's what I put.
Thanks, Mr. Randall. Mrs. Samuel?
Hello, board members and parents and staff. I would like to give a brief message to our staff and our family of Penwood. Thank you. To the security and the maintenance crew for all they do for our school. In agreement to what Mr. Hobbs said today, I too believe that beyond the fundamentals and essentials we obtain from books, what is to be greater remembered will be the knowledge and wisdom found through our teachers and those who epitomize our school and all we stand for. This district and our students leave here looking back on our memories and experience with a concluded source of contentment. Maybe 10 months into college, I'll forget that I came in top 10 or 4.0 GPA, but I'll always remember standing here in this board meeting with a bunch of board members that care about the school, with our parents, our teachers, and everyone that's trying to move something. And this is what I'm really going to remember from high school. Not the grades and everything. Of course, they're important, and of course, they'll set a great foundation for our future. But knowing that I was able to be a part of something like this is what I'll generally take from high school. And for that, I'm very grateful for you guys to give me this opportunity. And I just want to tell all you guys, the staff, maintenance, everybody that builds up Penwood as our district, thank you. That's it.
We've no special awards tonight. Any public comments regarding agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
Here an application from Darby, and it's a really positive one. It's about the class trip, the 9th grade class trip going to Washington. I can't tell you how happy I am to see that, because years ago, back in the day when my kids were there, it was a tradition for the junior class to go to Washington. And Mr. Coleman and the staff, it was a phenomenal trip. And I am just really happy to see it coming back.
Thank you. Anyone else, public comment regarding agenda items? Seeing none, any communications, Mr. Cobb?
There are no communications.
All right, committee reports. Ms. Boykins, community relations, please.
Yes, A1 National Art Honor Society introduction. A2 the Penwood Marching Band Boosters present Jazz Posture Art Night. Just to add on, that is like a really good event. Definitely should go and support that event. A3 Lansdowne Upper Darby Rotary Club March Student of the Month Awards. A4 Penwood High School Students Excel at Speech and Debate Tournament. I just wanted to read that one out. The Penwood High School Speech and Debate team competed in a District 10 speech competition of the Pennsylvania High School Speeches League. Qualifying competition at Harrington High School on February 23rd, 2017. More than 150 Pennsylvania public and private schools are members of the PHSSL. Students compete in district tournaments, which qualify them for the state competition. At the competition, Martinique Shaw had the first place win in the humorous interpretation category. Lowell Somalo Low. Let's not pronounce that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry about it. I still have trouble pronouncing, sorry, Low. I'm working on it. Placed third in oral interpretation of poetry, and Nia Larry placed third in persuasive speaking. Martinique Shaw qualified for 2017 state tournament at Bloomsburg University, and Lowe and Nia served as alternates. In addition, at the state tournament, Namira Stewart competed in impromptu speaking, and Miles Richardson competed in radio announcing. Ms. Meredith Gomez is advisor for the speech and debate team. The Pennsylvania High School Speech League was founded in 1961 and seeks to stimulate through educational competition an understanding and appreciation of all areas of speech. 85, summary of recent community relations meeting. Community relations meeting was held on March 23rd. Topics discussed including the purpose of community relations, how we can serve our community, problems facing each community, and the best modes of communication. In A6 is Penwood High School 4th Annual Career Night. This is a really great event under the direction of Ms. Elizabeth Brown, Guidance Department Chair. The Penwood High School Guidance Department will present its 4th Annual Career Night on Thursday, April 27th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The purpose of Career Night is to provide students in grades 9 through 12 with post-secondary career planning, to highlight industries in the 6 career cluster pathways, and to provide an opportunity for students to learn from people in the career fields in which they are interested. The event will be held at Penwood High School, Green Avenue. Presenters will provide engaging presentations that highlight their occupation. The presentations will be made in 25-minute sessions to groups of 15 to 20 students. Some of the career fairs to be featured include medical law, barbering, technology, science, education, entrepreneurship, cosmetology, fashion, business, athletics, journalism, and culinary. There'll be bus pickup and drop off for students who need it, and free giveaways. The event is free for all Penwood students. For more information or to register for attendance, students should contact their guidance counselor. And that concludes my report for community relations.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'd like to add, Park Lane will be holding their, I believe, 56th annual pep rally that will take place at 1:30 at Park Lane, the 29th. And I hope that, maybe we can get some publicity to come out there, someone can film it, because it happens every year. And I believe that Dr. Lee has rescheduled the trip from Franklin Institute. I think that's going to take place the 29th as well.
Yes, that is this Wednesday. Okay, education, I'm sorry, Ms. Fitty, sorry.
I know, I gotta move my chair so you can see me with my hand. Monique, I wanna say thank you for that meeting you had. And it was very awesome. I know I had to leave it early, but I think with that said and done, with these young adults that we have sitting here and gave great speeches, maybe the next time we can invite them and also get their input as the young adults that are in the school and graduating, what have you. And it was a nice meeting. I wish you could have been there, but the next meeting, I would like to ask, can we kind of put something out there?
Definitely will. Our next meeting is on May 4th with community relations. So if you guys could come, that would be great. We're looking for student and community feedback. I had pizza here, I fed everybody, so I want you to continue to come out. We'll definitely have pizza as our next meeting as well, because it was a really good meeting, and I appreciate all the board of directors that was able to make it and come out and support. So please come on out to our next community relations meeting, which is May 4th at 7 o'clock. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fitty. Sorry, I didn't look that side. All right, education, Mr. Ray.
B1 homebound instruction, B2 termination of homebound instruction, B3 proposed 2017-2018 school calendar, B4 agree with Delaware County Education Foundation, Delaware County Education Foundation, Pennsylvania nonprofit organization that is part of Delaware County Intermediate Unit, to provide administrator to the Winpenn School District at a cost of $78.58 per hour. Winpenn School District will direct the work of administrators and sign weekly timesheet verifying hours. The administrator will be scheduled to 2 days per week and will work on the Title I initiative. B5, Penwood Middle School grade student trip to Hershey Park. B6, Penwood High School Cypress Street campus 9th grade student trip to Washington, D.C. B7, Penwood High School Green Avenue campus 12th grade student trip to Pocono Valley Resort. B8, Summer Year Recent Education Committee. The education was held on March the 9th. Topics discussed include upcoming focus group, district-wide science fair, literature-based social studies, dual enrollment, AP course, and home curriculum, and parents helping their children outside of the school day. Is Mr. McCabe here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we decided, along with Jane Harvard, that we would not have education meeting, in April because we need to focus on organizing the focus groups, strategic planning, and also dividing some of the workload between Mr. McCabe and some others because it's a tremendous responsibility that we have an education meeting in May for the follow-up.
Okay.
B9 supplementary reading course at Penwood Middle School. The superintendent recommended that read 180-year supplementary reading course and read 180-year 2 supplementary reading course will be offered to the students at Penwood Middle School. These courses incorporate a variety of instructional modes designed to enhance reading comprehension. Students rotate through whole groups, small groups, computer assist, independent practice. The program is designed to meet individual needs, provide differentiated support. Students engage and enhance through independent selection of high interest level reading, as well as through the use of interactive software. These classes target students who struggle with comprehension of text to need to demonstrate that they need assistance in this area to ensure they are eligible for these courses. These are the year-long courses. Read 180, year 1 supplemental reading, read 180, year 2 supplemental reading. And so we have a motion, to approve both. That includes,
B10 and B11.
Okay, that was bad. All right, reading workshop strategy, Penwood Middle School, Penwood High School. The superintendent recommended the following reading workshop strategy. System 44 courses be offered to the students at Penwood Middle School, Penwood High School. These courses are designed for students who need specific instruction in reading and reading strategy. Using the System 44 computer assist instructional programs will be based upon the student individual needs. These may be year-long or semester-long courses depending upon the student progress. B11 Century Literacy Strategy 1 and 2 at Penwood High School. The superintendent recommended 21st Century Literacy Strategy course be offered to students at Penwood High School. These courses are designed for students who will be benefit from specific instruction in reading secondary content material and will strengthen reading and writing skills and strategy. Instructors support literacy development instruction and skills related to the alphabetical principle, fluency, vocabulary, reading comprehension, writing, viewing, critical thinking, and preparation for Keystone Literature exam. Teaching strategy increases motivation on making reading relevant to student life. These courses target students who have demonstrated a need to have additional support for literacy, and these are year-long courses. And this also needs a motion for approval. What I would like to add, last week I read in the newspaper, I was really excited with Delaware County in the meeting unit, I'll probably be in contact with them tomorrow on another issue, that they organized what the parents in the Winpenn School District like to see happen with us by having a spelling bee. And was a spelling bee, with some schools participating. And hopefully next year, when we start moving with our spelling bee, that we'll be able to participate in that program that took place in Delaware County under the leadership of Delaware County in the meeting. And so my point I'm making, the parents are right on where we need to be.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the education?
We need a motion. I'll
Oh,
second.
sorry, second.
Second.
Any questions from the board? Yes, Ms. Fitty?
Yeah, page 7, B1. I guess child 032715042817. And then on B2, it looks like they approved it at B1 and B2, then they terminated that. And I don't understand why it's on the same agenda that we approved for discipline reasons, and then we terminate their homebound instruction for the same number, 032715042817.
So the child was,
That
yes,
would
sir.
be Dr. Bruno?
The student was temporarily placed on homebound while awaiting a regular placement.
Okay, and then on B2, 032714586617, Vanguard, what is that?
That is a school for student with special needs.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
When is the date for the science fair?
We don't have one for this. We don't have one this year. We're planning it for next year.
Oh, it's next year, okay, gotcha.
Anyone else?
I have 2 questions. For the Read 180, how, I can't remember, I think it was brought up before, how long have we been doing Read 180?
This is our first year.
This is our first year doing it. So next year we'll be able to have data to see if it's working or not, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. For B10, I wanted to find out this, okay, so is this extra money? Like how is this gonna work?
This is an intervention that we must provide our students. And because the middle school is a Title I school, and part of our requirement is to use that money for intervention. So we'll use our Title I funding to pay for that.
We've used System 44 before,
We have not.
so why are we deciding to use it now? What is the?
We have a lot of students, especially our students who are identified who are not reading. They are struggling getting, whether it's brand new students coming into our district or students who have been identified. And so this is for our children who are reading at a very, very low level, Systems 44.
What do we have in place for this prior?
We haven't, we've done tutoring, but we have not had anything as far as, remember, we haven't had a reading program at the middle school ever before.
Any other questions?
So we really thought out like the pros and cons of this System 44, we thought about.
There's a lot, it's research-based. And so we have looked at it, we've looked at other districts that have implemented it and the results that they're getting.
Next question.
Wait, are you done?
No.
Okay.
Okay, also just want to make the difference between Read 180 and this reading workshop is what?
Systems 44.
Yes.
Read 180 are for children who are about, you can help me, Mr. McKay, 2 years, 3,
2 years,
2 years below grade level.
grade level.
Okay.
Systems 44 are those children who are at a very beginning reading stage.
Anything
In other
else?
words, they're more than 2 grade levels below.
Anything else, Ms. Boykins?
I think that's it.
Okay, Mr. Burrow?
What kind of research was done to come up with this reading program?
This reading program, we went out to other districts to see what they were implementing. And to be honest with you, this is one that's highly, when you look at, there's websites out there, it says programs that work. And we looked at those websites, and then we brought people in, we listened to them, and then made that decision. This is the one that had the best results.
Is this from SFA? Is
No.
it kind of like related
No.
in any kind of way? How
No.
can we cut these?
Well, the funny thing was, I said during the presentation the other day that they had for the principals, and every strategy that Read 180 was putting up there that we should be employing are the same strategies that is research-based through SFA too. So it's, when you look at reading research, they're all saying this is what we need to do for children who are reading on grade level, above grade level, and below grade level.
So it's separate from SFA.
It is.
Not
It is
related.
an intervention, and we are required to put in interventions for students who are not being successful. That is a Title I Because we get over $2 million from Title I. One of the things they say, you have to be spending that money for interventions.
Yeah, I'm just asking because, you know, we talk about like overlapping. We have a lot of reading supplements, it seems like, not like extra reading material that it seems like we're starting to get. So I wanted to ask and understand exactly what was the difference between System 44 and 180. I see that they're both at the middle school and high school, but you did explain that one is for a child that is that has a reading level significant greater than 2 years behind. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, one more. Can you illustrate just for 1 second, when we use Title I funds, that, correct me if I'm wrong, that pays for the full implementation and anything like textbooks and whatever else that we'll need start to finish for that program?
When we decide to put in, when there's an intervention, when we write the Title I grants, you put in everything. You put in equipment, you put in textbooks, you put in, now we don't have Title I teachers in our district. We don't have the funding to provide Title I teachers. So this is many of our special ed teachers have been trained with this, and several of our general education teachers have also been trained.
Are these interventions going in at the beginning of next year?
We've actually been using Read 180 at the middle school and at the 9th grade academy because we had significant students who were not reading on grade level. And to be honest with you, they were not being successful through Ms. Greenstein with special ed. She suggested that we do this for our special ed students who are struggling. And then we found that many of our general ed students could fit into that also. They try to keep those classes at 15, but we are a little over that. And also, when we look at our elementary schools that are struggling, and I'm going to tell you there are two that, when we look at their data, that have the lowest, students who are reading at or above grade level. So we're looking at those students to see what we could do. So school improvement money, which comes to 5 of our schools, Walnut and Park Lane, we decided we'd go ahead and try to put that in as an after-school program. So they're doing it after school with those students and to see what kind of results. But we use school improvement money for those schools. And they also recommend it for our second language students. They make,
and what are the data points on, let's just say, the 180 program? Are they, every 3 months? Is it every 6 months? Is it...
I know they're quarterly for sure.
Okay.
And I think we can get results, to see if children are making progress. We do have, over at Park Lane, we have one particular reading group over there that was, we made the adjustments that were necessary for those children. They have so many minutes of the curriculum of the reading program as the core program, and then they have so many with Read 180, that teacher that was trained. And those children have made significant gains in that particular classroom. They made and the gains are based on the scholastic reading inventory, the SRI that we give for.
Right, so we'll track the evaluation on these, okay.
Yes. And they use the same measuring instrument, Lexiles, as the scholastic reading inventory. So a Lexile is a Lexile, regardless of what test we give.
Gotcha, okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, the most first.
Sorry.
So, okay, all right, so B11, the 21st century literacy strategy. Is this something also taken out Title I funds?
That is a high school, so no, that's paid through special ed funds.
Okay.
Because the high school is not Title I yet.
Are we going, okay,
It was yet.
so are we going to see how much that costs? Are we going to see how much B11 costs?
We can get that information through, yes.
Okay. Even though B10 is Title I money, I would like to see how much B10 costs as well. And B11, before we approve it, I mean, we weren't told how much it costs. Even though I understand it's for our special needs, but I don't remember us talking about how much it costs. I thought it was coming out of Title I as well, but it's not.
B11 is not.
Darren?
I'm a bit confused, because we said that the kids were doing so great, and this was supposed to be a groundbreaking year for ninth grade academy, but we're putting in reading programs.
We actually had this in for our special ed kids.
That's where I need
Yeah.
I need those numbers to see how many kids are really, before we make a decision on this. It just doesn't make sense to make a decision upon without having the data to see how our kids are really doing. It's shooting blind. We don't know if we need it or not, but we're doing so great, right? I mean,
We still have a pocket of children.
You still have a pocket of children who are not reading.
sure, but I didn't know how much it is.
Ms. Finney?
Usually Title I and Race to the Top is grant money, which legislators in Congress are forced short of that.
Mhm.
So in Title I, what was the amount of money that we received this year to help support that system? Do we know? It's grant money,
It's $2.1 million
$2.1 million.
altogether.
For Title I and Race
Well,
to...
we're under Title I, we don't get race to the top money.
No,
We get school improvement money.
that's what I'm asking. A lot of people say Title
we
I
got-
and Race to the Top. So Title I is 2.1 million what we got this year.
Under that, that's Title I, Title II, Title III, and immigrant money, yes.
So, did we get more money this year for Title I? More than we did last year, or is
We got
it?
about, yes, we did.
We did get more money this year,
Mhm.
because last year we got shortfall. Okay, all right, thank you.
And then we have school improvement money too.
Yes, that's a whole.
Which is to be used for interventions.
That's separate.
Right. Mhm.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, to further not to add to confusion, I think, I understand what Jane Harvey is saying about that we have to have individual programs for our students. And I'm listening to the board members, so I would like, is there any kind of information and data on all these programs that we can read on the success rate?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if we can get that to all the school board directors along with how much all the programs are going to cost, I think that would clear up some of the concerns.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Do we want to table B11 until we get pricing, or are we going to just push me forward?
I mean, for me, B9 and B10 are covered under Title I. I trust our superintendent to make the right decision with those folks. And B11, I mean, she knows her budget. If we need kids that, for me, if we have kids that need help, then it's.
No, I'm not suggesting that we, not address that, but, I mean, just a ballpark, I think, number could probably satisfy some folks.
What I'm
Do
suggesting
we have
is
a-
that before we approve something that definitely 21st century seems to be new for us, we should know how much it costs. And with regard to B9 and B10, even though it's Title I money, okay, we should also know how much both of those cost, because what if we really can only afford to do one? At the end of the day, even though it's Title I money, I do understand, and I understand that it's her recommendation. I'm just asking if we could know how much it is, that's all.
Well,
That was my concern.
If I may, it's not just about the cost, it's about the effectiveness of the programs as well. That's what I'm more nervous about, is how effective is this program? Do we need it, or do we need more, do we need less? We're not getting that. I just want to make the right decision for the kids every time.
For me, for the effectiveness part, I think trust the decision makers on the effectiveness. I'm not really an educator, so I'm going to say, look, I trust that our superintendent and Mr. McKay will evaluate that and look, take a shot at it. If it's a supplemental and if it can come out of Title I money, I'm willing to take a shot. If it doesn't work, then we pull it. I'm cool with that. I just since B11 is just a little bit different. That's the only reason why I really kind of just like a ballpark.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah. Well, 11 separate.
So do you want to sever B11 and vote on the rest of the agenda? Can we do that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Do you have a motion on the floor yet?
Before you make the motion, so we have a better understanding, we definitely want to get information out explaining about the programs, B9 and 10.
Correct.
And also, what the school board directors asked for is about the funding.
Efficacy and funding,
Right.
yes.
And so we can vote on it, like, I agree, I can work with them, closely, but I'm just concerned that all the board members doesn't particularly seem, all aware of this program.
Yeah.
So I make a motion to vote on everything but B11, separate B11, and then vote on B11 separate.
Well, we're gonna bump B11 to the next agenda, we're not gonna vote on it.
Do you want to do a motion to table?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Motion with the table.
Motion to table B11.
Okay, do it that way. Okay, so I'll make a motion to table
And you have to
B11.
call the vote.
I second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Now,
That's not-
one more
not
question.
the time.
Would tabling it ruin the timeline?
So,
We're getting ready.
we're getting
To
ready
be honest,
schedule.
the answer is, we are getting ready to schedule students now. I don't want another year where students are not getting their schedules until they walk in that door. So that's what's gonna hold us up, because we are doing master scheduling now, and then, so it's coming from the 8th grade, the students who will need this type of remediation. I think the counselors are getting that information now. I think that Tamika Hill is working on that, so it's gonna be a matter of that, I have to schedule these students somewhere.
Mr. McKay, do you have any idea of the cost of B11?
B11 will actually be tied into Read 180 as well. And to be honest with you, we have some of the teacher materials already in the district. But because we're taking this and codifying it a little bit more instead of calling it something that it is not, the cost for this, the 21st century literacy skills, is actually going to be fairly minimal.
Okay.
Not very extensive. The larger cost comes with the teacher supplemental materials that he or she uses to provide the instruction. And I believe that when we group the students a little bit better this year to provide more cohesive instruction, I believe that we will actually wind up with some extra teacher materials. So we will just be buying what they're called real books. They're sort of a student guidebook for this. And that cost will probably be less than $8,000 or $9,000 total.
So if it's tied in to Read 180, why is it Title I not, why is it not coming out of Title I?
Because it's a school.
Because it's 9th grade, and 9th grade's not a Title I school.
Ninth grade's not
You guys have a
ninth
pre-section?
grade is not a Title I school.
So if we're, okay, so if it, so how is it, I just wanna know how are the two tied together? How is you said it's tied in, the B11 is tied into B9, that's what you said.
That's
right?
correct.
Okay, so how is it
So,
tied in?
so if you look at B9, you'll see here that this is for the middle school kids currently and the ones that are coming in from the 6th grade. And you can also use title money for children exiting the 8th grade, which is where we're going to be using it for next year in 9th grade, because they're exiting 8th grade students. And the additional materials that we have currently in the 9th grade can be used for 10th grade as well, because they will be extra. We're not taking away from anybody. So we have, say, maybe 3 or 4 extra, we will have 3 or 4, extra teacher materials, because we're solidifying the schedule a little bit more with these courses in place. And so the cost will not be very large at all. In fact, it may be much less than the original number that I gave you a few minutes ago. So it goes up through 8th grade into 9th grade, but you're allowed to use those funds for 8th graders going into 9th grade, and we will be able to use it across the street after a consolidation.
Okay, but I thought, all right, maybe I'm not totally understanding, because I thought B11 was for special education.
A lot of our students.
A lot of our students who are reading significantly below grade level are special education.
So it's
but-
not two different.
But some are not.
Is that the consolidation that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So most of them are special ed, some of them are not, but the program is applicable
Correct.
so we don't have to do
Both
two separate programs.
That's
we
right,
just kind of.
because I'm looking at using similar materials for kids that are really struggling, and so that we don't have to get yet another something in. This will work for a variety of students who are needing extra assistance.
So I'm comfortable, so let me get back to my motion. I'm comfortable with that projection. So I'm willing to withdraw that motion.
Wait, his projection was just on material.
That's right, because we already have the other
$9,000.
stuff.
Because we have the other stuff already.
And that's
from-
total?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yeah. No added staff.
Yeah, I just want.
No, no.
Yeah. that was-
Yeah.
All right, my question.
And I actually already had that staffing conversation with Dr. Lee. So we're not looking at more people. We're just looking at streamlining it and codifying it a little bit more so that it makes absolute sense for students that we want to make sure that we are not missing along the way. But no extra staff will be necessary. I already talked to Dr. Lee about that.
Thank you. Thanks for the
Okay.
clarity.
Yes, sir.
Have you identified the special education students and the regular education students?
I'm sorry?
How many do you have identified the special education students?
Dr. Lee's working on that
And
for me
also
right
the
now.
regular education students?
Dr. Lee's working on that for me right now. She said she'd have it in a week or two. She and I met last Thursday about that. So she is working on that with her staff over here so that we have a number, and then we can begin to look to see where we really need to put the effort here to make sure that we're not missing kids along the way.
Okay, that's great.
All right, any other questions? Yes, ma'am?
Real fast, the fact that this is confusing to some, maybe not to others, Robert Wright, you're the chair of education. I think when these things come up, you should be had told earlier so that you can explain to the rest of the board at an education meeting, so we're not here. And understand people have questions, that's fair. But with this being, everybody not unsure wise, I think with Tim and Kay, and when you have these certain meetings, if Robert Wright is free, because he's the chair of education, the next education meeting that we have, and what board directors show up, you then can explain to us, and this covers da. Sorry, I'm speaking a little tiny, but that would make it easier for all of us. Would that make sense?
Okay, it makes
I'm not
sense.
stepping on anybody's toes?
Probably are.
I tried to kindly.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? All right, thank you.
Do we actually have a motion? Is that the original?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Whoever reads it.
yeah. I want to add for Mr. Wright that the Education Committee meetings are online on our YouTube channel. Please watch them. There's a wealth of information on them. There are 2 really good meetings. So we've taken the time and the expense to videotape them. Please give them a watch. They're good insomnia-like material. Personnel, Ms. Hummel.
Yes, we have C1 retirements of support staff, C2 resignations, C3 appointments, C4 salary track changes based on education, C5 tenure awards, which are made after 3 years of satisfactory employment, C6 leaves of absence, C7 change in assignment, and then additions, C8 retirement, C9 resignations, C10 appointments. I believe these are exclusively to supplemental contracts and mostly, if not exclusively, to sports, spring sports. C11 leaves of absence, and that is it.
Great. May I have a second? May I have a second?
Second.
Before we have, okay, now comments? You want to start on this side, anything?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am?
There's a lot on personnel, and first of all, resignations, retirements, there's 2. Do we have the people to come in? Are we interviewing now in that process for these?
Yes, if there's resignations or immediate, if they're at the end of the school year, or retirements, we'll be doing it soon.
Okay, and I didn't realize how lengthy it was until I got here tonight. C8, professional status with McNeil, the suspension teacher. He's been here quite a long time, 2001, 2017. I'm going to wish him, well in his endeavor, and are we going to look for someone else to cover that class?
Yes, that's in the contract.
He's retiring.
We have a lot of resignations, which is scary. I also have leave of absence, C11-1. I wish her well. She knows I love her. We have Amy Plate's secretary, guidance department. Oh, we have a lot of people leaving. Are we gonna have people in there to help out? Because you also have someone in your department that's not being Margaret Mary Doherty, and there would only be one girl. Do you have someone
We're
coming to
closing
help that
down.
load?
We're closing down for a few months.
That'll work. You know she's needed.
I thank you for that. I think you are due a close down for 2 months.
Right on, Jeff.
I say it like it is. I don't mean to be funny, but I see a lot of changes here, and it's scary. And I hope you're okay with shutting down for 2 months. Well done.
Any other questions from this side of the room? Any other questions over here?
Yes. I just wanted to follow up. Mr. Wright and I had the opportunity to attend a job fair on this past Saturday in Philadelphia. It was very interesting. It was, the formal name of it was sponsored by the Fellowship, Black Male Educators for Social Justice. And it really was a group of black male educators in Philadelphia who were very, very concerned about the lack of black males in the classroom, and specifically in Philadelphia. So they formed a group, and this is their first effort at a job fair. It was held at Mastery Charter at 53rd and Media. We're the only non-Philadelphia school there. We kind of snuck into the meetings, and Dr. Height from Philadelphia was there and was kidding us about stealing some of his people. But it was a very good event, and it's certainly an area nationwide. I believe the percentage is only 2% of educators in the country are black males. So we did meet some good candidates. We met some Penwood grads who are in the market, and so it was a very good day for meeting some people. It was from 9 to 1. It was about 30 different schools that were represented. We were the only school district besides Philadelphia. A lot of charter schools, a lot of KIP and some other independent schools that were there trying to attract these students. But it's a good turnout.
Yeah.
It's a good event. Thank you.
All I'd like to add, that some of you probably would enjoy, I think it was like 30 recruiters, and they timed everybody for 30 seconds.
Wow.
And they actually accomplished it.
That's
And what was exciting, that I was very much impressed with Dr. Heisen, Superintendent of Philadelphia, how supportive he was of the program, that dedicating his resources and time and effort. He was there at 8 o'clock in the morning to welcome all of us, and it was worthwhile. Hopefully, I'll probably set up a meeting with him to learn a little bit more about him, actually promoting this fellowship. And at our minority diversity meetings that will take place April the 19th, Sharif Rakika, I hope I mispronounced his name, but we want to work on it. He's going to be one of our guest speakers. And he's an outstanding young man. He's on a national level doing this. And I just feel excited about it because everybody there had a can-do attitude that we can accomplish from the superintendent on down to any worker, that we can make this happen. We know what the data is. I constantly keep hearing the data that is doom and gloom for educators. And what was discussed, one of the recommendations came out, and hopefully that Mr. Conley and I will be meeting with Lincoln University and invite them out here, that if we're going to recruit teachers, we need to start recruiting them probably middle school, elementary school, and be positive about saying they want to be a teacher, because he asked how many of you decided you want to be a teacher and who motivated you. And many of them did mention, thank you, Mr. Howe, it was the teachers who suggested that, and they wanted to become teachers because of that. So now we, as educators, have to be a little more positive. And when Lincoln University comes, they want to meet with our high school students, and hopefully we can recruit some of them in the program that provide, that can move them forward. So those are ways that we can move forward as far as recruiting teachers, instead of continuing to just keep having a can-do attitude. And it was a great program, and I thank Mr. Conley for being there, and I thank Sharif Malik, you know, and inviting us.
Great. All right.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
You can help me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Summerlin. Property, there is nothing at this time. We are waiting a report from our roofer to know our summer roofing projects. And at that time, we'll have more information. And we'll also start generating our summer list, which is always good. Any questions on property? Hearing none. Budget and finance, Mr. Gabe?
E1, we have our treasurer's report. E2 is our list of bills. E3, 4, and 5 are the DCIU budget projections for 17-18. E6, we had a proposal breakdown from our financial advisor at our committee meeting last Monday. As a proposal to refinance our 2012 GO bonds. If you have any questions, never hesitate to ask. Be a proposed savings over about 5-6 years of roughly about $85,000 if we hit the interest rate projections. That's it.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions from the Board of School Board Directors? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Thank you. Ms. Richardson is out this evening. So the first reading of new policy 209.2 and revised policy number 246. On policy 209.2 and 246. Diabetes management policy 209.2 and school wellness policy 246. Act 86 of 2016 regarding diabetes care in school amended section 1401 of the Pennsylvania School Code and added 6 new sections. This legislation included requirements for the education of school employees in diabetes care and management. The school wellness, number 246, the USDA Food and Nutrition Service, FNS, finalized regulations on July 29, 2016 to create a framework and guidelines for written wellness policies established by local school entities. School entities must fully comply with the requirements of the final rule by June 30th, 2017. And we have a motion to approve the first reading of these 2 policies.
I'll make that motion.
Any questions on these policies?
Second.
What?
You can't make the motion. I made the motion, you need a second.
Thank you, sorry. I wanted to just be me
Robert
for a
rules,
second. Any questions from the Board of School Board Directors? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Thank you. Okay, solicitors report.
Thank you. We did have a brief executive session this evening to discuss one property matter and one matter of potential litigation. That is my report.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Any old business, Mr. Cox?
There is no old business.
Any new business, Mr. Cox?
No, we need.
Okay, Mr. Wright, do you have a report from Delaware County Community College this evening?
We will be having a meeting this Wednesday coming up, and what's going to be discussed is dual enrollment, the new course initiative in Delaware County, and also the budget for Delaware County Community College. So that's what we're going to discuss this Wednesday.
Great, thank you, Mr. Wright.
What time is that meeting and where?
We usually meet at 7.
Okay. Mr. Burrell, do you have anything from the Delaware County Intermediate Unit?
Just one thing really, is the DCIU put together a pamphlet that each board member received. It's just a few little highlights on there, how we utilize their services and how our kids utilize services. And just, it lines up their mission statement and exactly what's going on in the BCIU. Each board member does have a copy of it. Shane kind of stole his thunder earlier about talking about it earlier, so I can do that now. But I'm gonna have a couple copies out here going forward, so you guys can pick up on the next meeting going forward. That's it. Well, no, that's not it. The next meeting is April 5th at 6:30 at 200 Yale Avenue in Morton. That is all.
What time is that meeting?
6:30. 6:30.
All right, thank you, Mr. Burrell. Mr. Cave? Anything from the Delaware County Legislative Council?
Yeah, I'll just pick a few of the highlights from the past month. House Bill 250 is the proposed increase for the EITC and the OSTC tax credits. It's basically a conduit for businesses and educational scholarship organizations to funnel money for private schools and parochial school students. It's, in my estimation, it's a little overfunded already, but the proposal for the EITC is to go from 125 million to 175 million. And then the OSTC is proposed to go from 50 to 75 million. Again, it's already a little overfunded. I think they could redirect, save some of that money and send it to public schools, but just to let you know. And one which I thought was a decent proposal is our local Senator Anthony Williams, Senate Bill 364, is proposed financial literacy education in K-12 schools. So I of course, love to see our folks learn a little bit more about the financial systems. That's it. That's all the good ones.
All right, thanks, Mr. Cave.
Oh, can I have one more?
Yep,
Sorry.
sure can.
House Bill 515, which I don't know if it has any traction, but it's the Parent Involvement Leave Act that stipulates that that employers shall grant 8 hours of unpaid leave per year to any parent of a child of school age to attend school-related activities.
Great, thank you, Mr. Cave. Now comments from citizens regarding non-agenda items. Anyone? Yes, sir.
Hi, board members. I'm Todd Jackson from the Senior Class Committee. I'm class treasurer.
And my name is Monet Gregory. I'm also on Senior Class Committee. I'm secretary.
And we know that you're in the process of determining a new principal. And we hear that Dr. Lee kind of speaks highly of like the school and how they actually like her in a certain way. So we would just like to give you some feedback on the students' perspective on how they feel about Dr. Lee. One of the things that we feel is that there's a cultural difference between us and her. We feel as though that the Penwood culture embraces basically like the quirks and things that students that goes on in school. She kind of has more direct tone towards things, so she needs something done. She doesn't kind of shy away from sparing feelings. She goes right for it, and we feel as though if for a principal we should have someone who kind of best words to say. We want her to kind of be able to kind of de-escalate the situation instead of kind of going straight forward to the student, because it comes off towards us as aggressive. And when it's kind of aggressive, we kind of push back, and there's kind of a backlash from it. We also feel that she had good leaderships coming in since Dr. Cooley had left. She tried to initiate a leadership meeting where she can include all the leaders from 9th and up, and also PBIS to help promote Penwood school environment. And initially we came up with a matrix in the beginning of the year, and we were supposed to provide, we were supposed to show these examples of being honorable, safe, wise, and productive. And after Dr. Cooley had left, we've seen that we don't really show those matrix ideals anymore, and she doesn't really enforce them. So we feel as though We just feel as though we need that more now since we've had a bunch of stuff going on this year with student deaths and bomb threats, and we just need something more positive to bring kids together. And we also noticed that, like, with the non-positive outlook in school, kids are not really showing up to school motivated and driven to work hard in school. So it has caused latenesses, and we feel as though since these ideals aren't really pushed in school, there's not really a drive to actually keep coming to school. And she also made this leadership to get input on how she could make the environment better. But when met with leaders in the committees and PBIS, we gave her reasonable ideals that she could probably implement, but she would kind of turn them down and not give us a real solution to how to fix those problems. So we just want, if those meetings were there, we think that
At least like think about what we presented, because it wasn't really anything against school rules or rituals. It was just like if we said something about more pep rallies, it's like no, like it wasn't an actual reason presented that she gave us.
and we feel with those pep rallies and other positive outlooks, we feel as though kids would be more motivated to be more involved in school.
Yes, one more thing. So I know that you guys are going to be interviewing for a principal soon, so like I just want to make sure that when you take into consideration, make sure that the principal that you choose isn't just like a strong like dictator, like going to be ruling the school. Make sure like the connection is there with the students, like with Cooley, because Cooley, when we went there, he was our principal and he left, and then Dr. Lee came in, and it was like the connection was lost. So like we just want to make sure like for the grades younger than us that the relationship is there. Like it's a school, like it's a community school, so make sure that the principal is involved, because like I'm not even sure if Dr. Lee knows our names, but and then with Dr. Cooley, I know he left, but like it would be nice if he could like come to our graduation, because he got our doctorate. He got his doctorate when he was principal with us. So I just think it would be a reward to him and us for him to be on stage and just to shake our hands and stuff. That's about it.
Thank you guys, I really appreciate you coming out this evening. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
It's just a point of reference, with all due respect to all the board members, I know how hard you all work. Was there a pre-session meeting tonight?
There was.
Okay. Because some of the discussions that went on at length about the things that our children need and how much it's going to cost, and it makes it hard to sit here when you're hoping that had been discussed previously. And this, it's just really difficult. It's difficult to come to a board meeting and have things read to you, or all these discussions come about when there's been at least a pre-session that you would have at least been able to make those points at that time. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but in part, it's what makes it difficult to sit through a board meeting when you're hoping that, like when you have things on the agenda that are here printed in front of us, you can read them. But I don't intend this to be a terrible criticism, but maybe if we would just give a little thought to the time span that it's taking. Thanks.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Hi, my name is Garland Linzer. I have a son that is transported. He's in an autism support program at Alden Elementary, and basically, first of all, with a positive note, I'm very, very happy with the special needs program. It's perfect. It's the most supportive team I could ask for, from Evans to his transition to Alden. But the one missing piece is transportation. The reason I say that is I feel like they need to be trained more dealing with kids, especially under the spectrum, especially nonverbal children. I feel like it's a safety issue. There have been a couple issues where a child almost was brought to my house that was not my child. I also had an incident where my child was lost and the monitor told me, I asked him what his name was when my son is nonverbal. He can tell you his name now, but this was, at the time. But I feel like to create less stress and anxieties, not on just us as parents, but also these monitors and these drivers. These girls' hair is sticking up sometimes when they come to drop my son off. If they understand, maybe sensory processing disorder, just some of the behaviors of the kids under a spectrum, it would cause a lot less anxiety for all of us. And especially when it's a sub. First student has come a long way since he's been in the district since 13. It was crazy. Now it's really gotten a lot better, but what happens is when there is a sub, when the regular driver is not there, it's chaos. And we don't get a lot of communication with first student. You call there, you get to run around, people don't communicate well. And they have to understand that my child, like I try to explain, he's nonverbal. That is important to me. His transportation is important. Also, when they're late, these kids are used to a certain time. 10, 15 minutes late sometimes, that's understandable because it happens with weather or anything else. But we had that 2-hour delay a couple of weeks ago. He was still late for school. Now, I thought the 2-hour delay was but he was still late. And there's been several occasions I asked the teacher to text me the times that he gets in because they should not be getting to school late. I don't think they should be getting to school late. The teachers are doing great. They communicate. They're doing the best that they can. Don't get me wrong. It's just the transportation. And I just don't want to see anyone get hurt. I feel like it's definitely a safety issue. Thank you.
After the meeting, can you come up and give us your bus number?
Sure, absolutely. No
So we
problem.
can work on this.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Anyone else this evening? Okay, yes, ma'am.
We brought up some about transportation last week and not meeting some of the children's needs that are special ed because they go a half a day. And it's hard to get busing. We brought this up last Monday. And it gave me a couple of days to think about it, that we have a contract with First Students. And if it's a hard time to pick them up a half a day and what have you, it's up to First Students to get more buses and maybe hire more bus drivers to meet our children's needs. There's a lengthy discussion about that, and I was a little perturbed about it. That we pay them for they have a contract. They need to hire more people to meet our children's needs, so be it. Also, I want to thank you young men and lady that came and spoke up tonight. I think it's wonderful hearing from the youth of our school. And I stand behind that Mr. Brandon Cooley should come to graduation and at least shake your hand. Because you're the last graduating class that he would have been with. And as far as me speaking as a board director, I would be honored to have him do that for you. But I can't speak for everybody here, but I think that's a noble thing to do. Thank you for speaking up.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
Oh,
Sorry. We have a budget and finance meeting April 6th in this room at 6:30. We have a meeting of the Committee of the Whole Monday, April 17th at 6:30 in this meeting, room. April 19th, diversity and minority representation. April 19th at Bell Avenue in the auditorium at 6:30. The next business meeting of the Board of School Board Directors is at 7:30, Monday, April 24th. Pre-session at 6:30, regular meeting at 7:30. And to close out the month, budget meeting on April 26th at 6:30 in this room. Motion to adjourn? All those in favor? Anyone against? Thank you all.